Okay, we are live. We are live right now for the first time in a couple of days. Is it the last time we're gonna be live today? Probably. Unless something crazy happens. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about a couple of Dijonai situations, her inability to not stop hitting people in the head. We're gonna talk about the Enos Cantor situation with the league. We're going to talk about the way the league are responding, and we're going to talk about Stephanie White, because Aaliyah Boston has gone on record defending Stephanie White as well. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And it is an interesting one all around to see what's going to happen. And hopefully some of you guys are in the chat. We got 14 right now. Once you get to about 14, we're going to start. So if you're watching this after the fact, you might, if you skip in 90 seconds, you're probably going to get into some of the topics. So again, I've got a couple of topics I want to talk about here. So, first thing we are doing is we have got to talk about the Dijonai Carrington situation with Ceci Zandalasini and with Tiffany Hayes. These, by the way, are nowhere near as bad as the Sophie Cunningham one. But, she has a problem with hitting people in the face. She really does. This is concerning. How are you, the Pope? Be frank. Really appreciate it. Shout out to him as well. But, yeah, this is concerning. She clawed her in the face. And, maybe saying claw is an exaggeration. But she went, her hands were bent in. She didn't try to get her in the eye. But, there's no need. There is no need in this scenario. How do you hit her in the face with your left hand? How do you do this unintentionally? There is no world in which anyone does this unintentionally. I cannot see how you can do this. And then she does this in the game. She's nowhere near the ball. You put your hands up, you're in verticality. You know you're not getting the ball. She could have Taco Fall's 8'3" wingspan and she still wouldn't get there. She could be Wemby wouldn't have blocked this shot. She could have Wemby's wingspan and she wouldn't even block this shot. She's a foot and a half away. She's probably a meter away from the ball. What? And this one here, whatever about this, you could say, you could try to say she's going for the ball and she's not close. There's no why. Her right hand, she fouls with her right hand, which is close to the ball. Why is her left hand clawing down? Why? There is a 2-minute long highlight reel of Dijonai Carrington hitting people in the face. This is Draymond. This is Draymond type shit. And I'm sorry, whatever about the Sophie Cunningham one. First of all, when your own coach can't definitively say that it wasn't intentional, and says, I think it was intentional, it's not a great sign. But with the Sophie Cunningham one, if Dijonai didn't have any history of doing this, you could always say, you know what, maybe it's not intentional. In what world can someone accidentally do this? In what world can somebody what? There's no way. There is no way. And if she is accidentally able to pull this off, she's too uncoordinated to be a basketball player. You cannot be a player at Dijonai Carrington's level and have such a lack of hand-eye coordination that you do this accidentally. You just can't. People saying ban long fingernails. She doesn't have long fingernails. What are people talking about? She doesn't have nails. And even with the Caitlin Clark situation, I never understood that. She didn't have nails. Banning long fingernails makes no difference because she doesn't have them. But how do you accidentally do that? Did she get her in the eye in the end? Did she? I don't know if she got her in the eye. No, she didn't. Yeah. The index finger got her in the eye. Like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, you don't. Let's be very clear. Like, Dijonai Carrington would have to be one of the least coordinated basketball player in history to be accidentally doing this. And then this as well, like this is horrendous. This is horrendous. I think I've just taken this off screen. But like, this screenshot is horrendous. Like, what exactly are we doing here? And I get it. People are going to want to defend Dijonai. I get it. You know, oh, she was with the Connecticut Sun. And to an extent, Stephanie White wrote the rule, like, created Dijonai. Like, Stephanie White, or like, Dijonai might be out of the league if it wasn't for Stephanie White. So, whatever about Stephanie White. But still, how exactly, as a, like, did she get away with both of these? Like, thank God she didn't have one of these games where she had 26 points again. People are like, oh, look, Dijonai is insane. I'm like, well, she was actually garbage yesterday. So at least that's a positive thing. She was completely garbage. But, like, I've never, like, this is like Draymond Green all over again. Like, do you remember when Draymond Green just could not stop hitting people? Like, this reminds me of that. When Draymond Green could not stop going after people. And, like, she's done 3 times in the last 3 games, she's hit somebody in the face. 3 times in the last 3 games, she has hit somebody in the face by going nowhere near the ball. If she was close to the ball, you could say something. She's nowhere near it. And the worst part about every single one of these is the swing is after the ball is gone. It's not like she's attempting to block the shot. Look what happens when the ball's released. Like, the ball's already out of range. The ball is already out of range here. She's never getting anything. The ball has already been brought to here while she's in verticality. Like, any reasonable person holds verticality there and not smack down on their face, because that is dangerous. It is dangerous to swipe down in any circumstance. If you know there's a 0.00% chance of you getting the ball, it is dangerous. And if nothing else, coaches keep saying, yeah, she always goes to the ball. She's not going to give up on a play. I'm sorry, give up on a fucking play. Any coach that says this is a good thing, a player who refuses to give up on a play to the extent that they are a danger to their opponents, is at fault too. Like, they are at fault too. If you are a coach and one of your players are so reckless, you cannot defend the recklessness in, they just don't give up on plays. You're supposed to. There's a reason why. There's rules in this sport and every other sport about this. If you're recklessly going to endanger somebody, even if you're going for the ball, it's still an unsportsmanlike, technical foul. It's anything. Whatever it is, it's something. It's something. And, like, I don't know, again, in these situations, I mean, even if you want to go and say that, these aren't dirty plays, they're reckless plays. They are so reckless. They are so reckless that it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Intent right now at this point in time with Dijonai Carrington does not matter, because she's done it so often that if she's not trying to hit people in the head, she's hit people in the head too much that you can no longer give her the benefit of the doubt. If this is her not trying to hit people in the head, then her style of play actively puts players in danger of getting hits to the head. So the onus is on her. If she is not being intentional, and by the way, I fully think she meant to go for Sophie Cunningham, but to play devil's advocate, if she did not mean to go for Sophie Cunningham, and this is all unintentional, then the onus is on her to adapt her game to stop hitting people in the head. Like, is that too crazy, you think, to say? That the onus is on the player who keeps doing it. If this was a once-off thing, whatever, she keeps doing it. And she has been doing it for hours, or for years. For years and years and years. She has been a reckless player with no real care about the safety of her opponent. The onus is on you. If you're going to do that, the onus is on you to improve. But anyway, yeah, it's actually getting a little bit ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous with Dijonai. And I know I'm late to this. Unfortunately, I have had to go to the doctor. Oh, it's been a disaster. Being a absolute disaster, health-wise for a while. Like, a medication to stop one thing is causing some side effects. Oh, been in a bad spot. Either way, I will see you guys later, and subscribe if you just want. And if you're on the live stream, we're here for another hour. But we actually do have to talk about it. We do have to talk about this here. I just saw somebody copying a Hunter Cruz thumbnail. But yeah, we have to talk a little bit about this situation here. The Enes Kanter and Royce White situation. This has gotten so out of hand that, like, in my life, people know what I do. Like, people know, like, my friends would know. Like, again, like, I still play basketball. I'm still around the sport of basketball. And everyone kind of knows what I do. They're like, what do you think about Enes Kanter? Everyone is just asking about Enes Kanter. Like, it is probably the most relevant thing right now is Enes Kanter. And obviously, like, it's on Joe Rogan. It is, it's like Joe Rogan's talking about it. Stephen A. Smith is talking about it. And the WNBA have basically, as a league, came out and said they don't take it seriously, which, again, no, it's not. Like, Enes Kanter's not going to play in the WNBA. Let's be very clear. Neither is Royce White. Royce White can't get on a plane. Royce White can't even get on a plane. That being said, again, the WNBA have come out and they had their, task force that came out with nothing. And if we're being real here, it is a non-issue right now. No matter what anyone says. So how many times he pokes somebody eye with the same hand, same fingernail, same motion before you stop calling it an accident? Yeah, I'm kind of on that with Dijonai. I kind of am. But when it comes to these two players right here, like, the WNBA, are speaking out against... They're speaking out against, bad faith actors trying to use this as taking a shot at them. And I'm being real, they are. Like, if you think Royce White is doing anything other than, if you think Royce White is doing anything other than trying to shit stir, you obviously don't know who Royce White is. If you think, Enes Kanter is doing anything other than shit stirring, you are, you're just, you don't know what's going on. That being said, it's only unless the WNBA do something, it's a matter of when, not if something happens. Because let's be very clear, Project B is now being attacked for being transphobic by literally saying, we are going to take FIBA and the Olympics rules. So basically, the governing bodies of world sports, we're just going to do what they're doing. And apparently now they're transphobic bigots. What are we doing? It's gotten that crazy. And I'm being real. Julie Tatar is a WNBA level player. I've watched this Monaco team play. It is hilarious how dominant Julie Tatar is. Pre-transition, worse than me at basketball. And I'm not very good. At my best, I was a low to mid-tier D3 role player. That was me at my very best at basketball. Pre-transition, I was better than Julie Tatar. I've watched clips of her play. She would be a WNBA player. There is no like talent or ability reason for Julie Tatar not to be in the WNBA. As like, again, as an end of bench player. Not an all-star or anything, but like she is bigger, stronger, more for a 6'3" player, more coordinated than any other 6'3" player, is more powerful than any other player in the league. And people are like, oh, Julie Tatar's playing in the second tier in France. What about, why is she in the second tier in France? She's in the second tier in France because at 34 years old decided she wanted to play pro ball. At 34 years old, post-transition, is like, yeah, I'm going to go play pro ball. And then was the best player by 100 miles in French Division 2. And obviously would walk into the top league in France and would be one of the better players in the top league in France and clearly would be a rotational piece in the WNBA. Again, Julie Tatar would not be an all-star in the WNBA. Julie Tatar would be a WNBA player. It is a matter of when, not if, something happens. And there has to be some eligibility rules because right now, Enes Kanter is eligible to play in the WNBA. And if we're being real, this is a non-factor. People being like, oh, there is fear-mongering there. Because it is a non-factor right now in the WNBA. But it's 2026 right now. It is 2026. There are a lot, I hate saying this, there are a lot more crazy people online crazy people that might have been D2 level basketball players, didn't make it, and are just mentally ill and are going to go through a transition and try to get to the league. Stuff like that could happen. And again, these are hypothetical situations. There is no rush. There is absolutely no rush in the league putting in rules. They can put in whatever rules they want. But they have to do it. It's a matter of they have to at some stage put in a definition. Because right now, Enes Kanter and Royce White are absolutely eligible to be in the WNBA. They shouldn't be. Even if they're allowed, no team should take either of them. They're not eligible for the draft, they're too old. No team should bring either of them in. It sets the worst precedent ever and it makes a mockery of the league. No team should do it. The problem is they are eligible. Anyone is eligible. And if nothing else, the league's hand is forced. They have to. But at the same time, Project B are now bigots for, I shit you not, saying we are going, basically, they are a basketball league. We're going to take the same rules as FIBA, who, by the way, is the world governing basketball body. Basically, they're FIBA control the entire world of basketball outside of the NBA and the WNBA. We're just going to take their rules. We're going to take their rules. I'm apparently that's transphobic. It's transphobic to basically say, we're going to go with the rules of the governing body. I have no idea. I have no idea what way there is out of this because the WNBA as a league have backed themselves into a corner. They have backed themselves into a corner here. The media coverage of this is bigger than the media coverage of anything else. And they have genuinely backed themselves badly into a corner here. And the league have done a terrible job overall with everything. Genuinely. They have done a terrible job. Because in their own fucking CBA, they did not define, technically, you can play in this league if you self-identify as a woman. It's not. They got to do something about it. And again, nothing is going to happen right now. They're going to stall as much as possible. But unfortunately, if there's even one owner in the WNBA that wants this rule to be put in, all they have to do is start rumblings that they're going to sign Enes Kanter. And the WNBA have to put in the rule right there. So yeah, it is. It's a mad out situation. It really is. It really, really is. So what do I want to talk about? Oh, Caitlin Clark MVP. The league is either yeah. I'm gonna be real. Like, they just backed themselves in the corner. They really just backed themselves in the corner. I got it. I'm not making a video, but you see Paige yesterday was 0 first half points against Toronto without half of their team. Without half of their team. But we got to talk about Caitlin Clark being an MVP, potentially being the MVP here this year, because I think I'm on the side of, like, she is hovering in that conversation. I think she is absolutely hovering in the conversation of MVP. I think it's a real tough one to go out there and, like, emphatically say she is the MVP because of what Angel Wilson's doing this season. Look, Angel Wilson's the best player of all time, having her best ever season. Like, this is the worst collection of talent Angel Wilson's ever played with. I know Jackie Young's Jackie Young, but it is. Like, she's averaging a career high in points? No, she's slightly off a career high in points, but she's doing it on way better from the field, way better from three, better from the free throw line, and she's taking 2 less shots a game to average 0.2 points per game less. And as well as that, she's also, in fairness, she is down a half a block per game. Aja winning DPOY this year would be crazy. She has not been the DPOY. She has really not been the DPOY. But when it comes down to it with Caitlin Clark, she is having... I want to see, just in general, what Diana Taurasi did. What Diana Taurasi did in her MVP year. Because she only has one MVP, if I'm not mistaken. She got robbed of one by Candace Parker, though. So Diana Taurasi has one MVP, and it was in 2009. And again, this is the greatest guard of all time. This is the GOAT guard. In Taurasi's best ever season, she averaged 20.4 points per game, 3.5 assists per game on 46% from the field, albeit 40% from three, 90% from the free throw line. Caitlin Clark is shooting comparable from the field, lower from three, but I don't know, she's not even taking more. Slightly less efficient. I think Caitlin's at 2.4 stocks to 2.6 stocks per game. A better assist to turnover ratio than Taurasi, less rebounds, and her team is a better offensive team. So she's averaging more points, less rebounds, like more than double the amount of assists, more steals, less blocks, better assist to turnover ratio, and very, very comparable from the field. And Caitlin Clark's a better defender than Taurasi was. And as well as that, like, what can't be overstated? I mean this. It cannot be overstated how important what the gravity of Caitlin Clark is. I think it can't be overstated that when Caitlin Clark comes onto the floor, and she's standing here, she has to be guarded here, and any sort of an action, whether it's a pick and roll or anything, it basically, because she's at the halfway line, they have to guard her here. Instead of teams having to defend from here in, teams now have to defend from here in. And that creates what? Wide open shots for Kelsey Mitchell, wide open shots for layups for Aaliyah Boston, wide open shots for Sophie Cunningham that Taurasi did not create. I legitimately think that Caitlin Clark's having the best guard season of all time. And again, it is debatable. What we're not talking about here is like a sure cut and dry, she's been the best guard ever, because obviously Taurasi was ridiculous at her peak. Like, we're not going to pretend that Taurasi at her peak was not super and was not in the stratosphere as same stratosphere as what Caitlin Clark is doing right now. But like, it's not out of realm possibility to say what like Caitlin Clark is doing and like no guard or player has ever done. It's just unfortunate that what Angel Wilson's doing, nobody has done either. Like, I think it's as good as a given that Caitlin Clark is on the All-W first team, unless Paige goes Super Saiyan. Like, I don't see Dallas doing well to end the year. I just don't. Like, Paige came out with 22 second half points. 22 second half points. She did great. Like, she did great in the second half. And she went out chucking. Something that I like to see. But I'm like, she has Paige has too much of a conscience to be an MVP. Like, Paige has way too much of a conscience to be MVP. I think Olivia Miles has that kind of swagger, that lack of confidence, that belief she's the best player in the world that I think Caitlin Clark has, that I think Kelsey Mitchell has. I think Arike has that, but Arike is not good enough after that. Like, the difference is where it's like, you can be at that level. You can have the mentality, but not the ability to be an MVP right now in the Angel Wilson era. And let's be clear, Juju Watkins, Sarah Strong, Michaela Blakes, Olivia Miles are all coming up. All coming up. So the standard for being an MVP in this league is getting higher and higher and higher. But I don't know. I think it's going to be very difficult for Caitlin Clark because of there were 10 games this year that she either flat out didn't play or she may as well not have played. And she was on such a severe minutes restriction, she may as well not have been on the court. There's at least 10 games where that happened. And I got to be real, that probably, just like her rookie year, where those first 10 games were tough, you kind of go out MVP conversation in that scenario. But if the Indiana Fever overtake the Las Vegas Aces, which is not a crazy thing, like if the Aces had lost to the Mystics, which they could have, they pulled away in the fourth, but like Georgia Amore, like if the Mystics didn't have Georgia Amore playing point guard, they win that game. They win that game. But like right now, the Aces are a game and a half off 2 and a game and a half off Indy in 4. Like, if Indiana go and beat Dallas, and then I can't remember who they play in their next game, but the one after that is Toronto. But, like, the Aces play the Mystics. Their next games are the Mystics, the Lynx, and the Dream. There's a world where they go 0-3. If they go 0-3, and the Indiana Fever go... Dream's a tough one. And if they go 1-2, they're not losing to the Tempo. The Tempo lost to the... I know the Tempo lost to the Wings yesterday, and it was a close game with none of their players. Like, Maria Conde even got injured. Kiki Rice got injured during the game. But, like, the Wings aren't good right now. But they might still go and, you know, give the Fever some trouble. But if the Fever go 2-1, and the Aces go 0-3, the Fever then go 23-13. The Aces go 23-14. And either way, the Fever have a tiebreaker over Vegas. If it comes to it as well, like Minnesota might roll over twice for Indiana. If the Indiana Fever leapfrog the Aces and get into third, I think it'll be hard to argue. Especially because, again, if you're going to drop to 4th. You can just as easily drop to 5th or 6th. Like, if the Aces start sliding, that's the real way Age is not going to win MVP. But then if you're Caitlin, you do also have to come up against the best player on the best team. And I think A'ja Wilson having the opposite of voter fatigue, having the, if you don't vote for A'ja, A'ja's going to get you, which is what we learned after 2023. Nobody knows who put A'ja Wilson as 4th on the MVP. But because Aces fans don't like Rebecca Lobo, they just have abused Rebecca Lobo for 4 years. But we saw in 2023, it is, or even when A'ja Wilson lost Depoy to Fee, it is you give every award to A'ja Wilson or face the wrath of Becky Hammond, the Aces, A'ja herself. And it's actually the opposite of voter fatigue with A'ja Wilson. Like, you have to, it's like if a referee is trying to screw you over in a game, you basically have to win by 30, otherwise the referee is going to lose it for you. And you have to lap A'ja Wilson. Like, A'ja Wilson lost MVP last year to a player whose team had a 90% win rate when they played, shot 50, 40, 90, and until 2 games to go in the season was leading the league in scoring. And was on the 1 seed. Who won a record total of games in WNBA history. And that couldn't win MVP. You have to be so much better than A'ja Wilson that it is inconceivable that you can't win MVP to win MVP. And unfortunately, even if you think Caitlin Clark's been better than A'ja Wilson, she has not been so much better than A'ja that they're not going to give it to her. And by the way, they're going to give it, A'ja's going to win another one here. And she's going to win 3, she's going to 3-peat. And then they're going to give her the 4th next year if she's good. So that they make sure, no matter what happens to the Aces, they're going to give her the 4th next year. And then it's, can she win 5 in a row? And they're going to give her the 5th. So it's going to be really, really, really tough for Caitlin to ever win one. That being said, I think she is in the conversation. And it feels like she is a lock for first team unless she falls off a cliff or Paige goes Super Saiyan. It seems like the first team is as good as locked of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Olivia Miles, Breanna Steward, and A'ja Wilson. The WNBA is sacrificing long-term health of the game to appease the loud few. They're using female athletes to look ball and strip and fun magic. I agree. And they're trying to appease the players that are on the way out of the league. As some basically like, oh, we owe you this. But we got Aaliyah Boston talking about the Stephanie White. And I do want to talk about the Stephanie White situation as a whole. First of all, we know Stephanie White went on the big rant telling everyone to go to hell. And we've also heard Stephanie White go out, like, basically say she never saw the Sophie Cunningham situation. Can we be real here? Can we be real here? There is literally footage of her staring at what happened. Like, even in real time here. Like, there is footage of her. There's footage of her, like, staring at what happened. While saying she never saw it. Everybody, including Sophie Cunningham, knows that she saw it. Everyone does. And the problem with Stephanie White is nothing that Stephanie White says is not, like, it seems like 100% of the time she's just trying to she's basically just trying to put out fires or prevent fires, and then she's causing them. And you've got Aaliyah Boston being like, talking about the booze and being like, it's disrespectful. Like, I'm sorry, from a fan perspective, and I get it, I'm pretty sure every single player on the Indiana Fever team likes Stephanie White. Clearly behind the scenes, she's done a good job with them. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. Is that behind the scenes, is that like she's actually a good coach. Like, that is what matters. Like, we can say what we want. That being said, dealing with fans, talking in the press is part of being a coach. Like, that's part of being a coach. And Stephanie White, with that part of it, turns the fans against her because she creates the stories. Like, Stephanie White wants to talk about, these narratives need to stop and people won't divide us. Like, I'm gotta be real here. Stephanie White causes these stories. And it is so annoying. Stephanie White, for me, is the most annoying head coach to have. Like, a lot of people, I don't think she's a bad coach. I don't think Stephanie White needs to be fired on the spot or anything. I don't think that she's the worst coach in the world, which people do. But I do think with Stephanie White that you can't be the one to create the storm and then complain about the storm. Like, you can't start the fire, put your hand in the fire, and then complain about getting burnt. And it's clear what Stephanie White's trying to do. She is trying to diffuse. She's trying to diffuse every situation. But, like, when she tries to diffuse a situation by lying, like we heard it with Caitlin Clark's injury last year. We heard about Chloe Bibby's injury. Chloe Bibby's fine. She's fine. Just a little bit of swelling. It's normal. She's fine. There's no injury. No new timeline. Nothing's gone worse. She's fine. And then we find out Chloe Bibby's out for 4 months with a knee injury. With Caitlin Clark last year. Caitlin Clark, there's no setbacks. It's all good. She fucked up her ankle real bad. Again, she was out for 3 months with an ankle injury. And all we got is no setback, or no setbacks. Everything's good. No setbacks. But yeah, it's one of those things now where I'm just like, what exactly does she think is going to happen in these scenarios? And I get it from a player's perspective. You want to have your coaches back because it genuinely does seem from everyone's perspective that she's got their back behind the scenes. But like, she starts fires publicly. Stephanie White is starting public fires and complaining about getting burnt. Like, that is what she's doing. And if she's intentionally doing it, I don't know. But like, there's a video when Caitlin was out this year with the back injury. They were like, nope, she's not injured. There's no back injury. She's not injured. And I was just there like, wait, you're saying she's not injured, and why isn't she playing? And we find out, yeah, she is injured. But yeah, it doesn't feel, none of this makes any sense. And all around with these players coming out there and defending Stephanie White and the organization coming out and saying we're fully behind Steph. And I'm like, I get it. Like, as an org, you're going to fully be behind your coach. I get it. But like, it's not the fact, like, first of all, I don't think there's anything to be gained by booing in person, because it's actually worse the opposite, because new fans are considered so bad that we all understand. If you've ever watched any sports, as soon as the fan turns on a coach, I'll play the clip. Aaliyah just called it disrespectful. If you want to watch the clip, let's watch it.
I think when you are on your home floor and your team's getting announced and the coach is getting announced, I feel like there's no reason for any of that. I mean, we come out here and we do everything that we can to win. And I think Steph does a great job with us. Like, we love her and we appreciate her. And so to hear that, it was really annoying, honestly, and disrespectful. But for us, I mean, we kept the main thing, and we said we're going to come out here and we're going to get that dub.
I mean, yeah, like, she's not wrong. Like, it doesn't, like, booing your own team before a game while they're on a hot streak, like, there's nothing to be done. But in sports, when a coach loses the fans like that, and this is not online fans, this is the in-person fans that everybody has talked about how great they are. Like, when you're losing them, it's a problem. Like, it's a big problem when you're losing the in-person fans. Because those in-person fans aren't chronically online. If you lose the chronically online people, who cares? But if you start losing your fans in arena, it's over. But the problem is now, is that the narratives are so, like, the fever is old WNBA. Kelly, Amber, Steph, the whole staff, they're all old WNBA. Like, the WNBA, in all of these leagues, in the NBA, they're like, look, we know it's a business. We know it's a business. In the WNBA, every time a player gets traded to a place they don't like to, or every time something happens to a player they don't like, they think it's a personal shot at them. Unfortunately, you can't say it's a business. You cannot use that phrase when it comes to the WNBA. You cannot use that phrase because the players and coaches and organizations don't understand that. And the entire FIFA organization is old WNBA. From when it wasn't a business, from when it was a charity. When basketball got played. So, losing the fans is going to guarantee Stephanie White keeps her job, by the way. It doesn't really matter how bad she is. I'm fully convinced the FIFA trade Caitlin Clark before they fire Stephanie White. That being said, there's a chance that both of them are still there. And we have actual footage of the booing here.
The head coach for your Fever and Eastern Conference Coach of the Month, Stephanie White.
Boo! That's one dude. That's literally one dude.
God, I wish they'd fire her already.
That's just one dude. Oh my God. Is that all it was? Oh my God, they're talking about nothing. If you hear the background, it's like one dude booing. Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? The actual footage I've seen. Are you kidding me? It's one person. Oh my God. It is one person. Obviously, that one person was loud enough the players heard, and it's a small few. Oh my God. After a game where you tell people to go to hell, one person boos you. Oh my God. I didn't even realize that. I just saw that there. Like, what the hell, man? What the hell? Like, that is not a... that is madness. That is absolute madness. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? Okay, I have one thing I want to talk about. Oh yeah. It happened again. Where Dijonai Carrington has now called for a fan to be chucked. In Golden State, like, if you know anything about these Golden State fans, they are, again, it's San Francisco. So you know the extent was heckling. Because if anyone said anything that crossed the line, in San Francisco, they would have been chucked. Like, of all places, you're not getting away with saying anything that's crossing a line in San Fran. So Dijonai, by the looks of things, the likelihood of the scenario is she's just asking a heckler to leave. So she's gone, and it's a random heckler joking with people behind them. And then was told to, step back, leave, but immediately came back. And it's now at the stage where I'm pretty confident these players are just any sort of heckling, they're getting a fan kicked out. And again, if you are a player, do you enjoy getting heckled? No. No, like, I don't think any player enjoys getting heckled. That being said, like, if you're going to go and get a fan kicked out, they better have done something serious. And again, look who's sitting around him and think about where he is. There is no way in hell he said something across the line. There is no way. And this is a team known for heckling. Courtney Williams has laughed about it. Like, Courtney Williams talks about the fans. Pods used to stand up and start saying shit in players' ears. Like, that is what they're known for. That is literally what they are known for. And they are like NBA level hecklers. They are going to heckle you. That is literally what they do. That is what the fans in Golden State do. Again, whether you think that they should be doing it or not is a different question. That's what they do. It's currently allowed in the rules. But we've now got Dijonai in a game where she, again, hit 2 people in the head. 2 games after clotheslining somebody. And now she's gotten, fan kicked out. Like, she has gotten a fan kicked out. Well, she tried to get a fan kicked out. I mean, they kind of initially did, and they went back to their seat. And like, again, when it comes to these games, obviously, Gabby Williams joked Golden State fans are bullies. They're good fans. Like, I don't understand this. Why is this a big issue right now? They're legitimate basketball fans. They are legitimate basketball fans. And, like, the players in the league cannot deal with having basketball fans that realistically aren't, we support the league. Because in the old WNBA, I'm sorry, unless you were an Aces or a Liberty fan, or you played for the Aces or Liberty, fans cheered for everybody. No. Like, you literally had to have Temi come in last year and be like, boo the other team. Ryan Howard last year was like, this was a key game for our playoff seeding. Why are you cheering for the other team? Like, it is that, as a league, as a whole, it's that bad. Indiana and Golden State are the 2 places that actually put up a hostile environment for opposing teams. As a fan group, as a player, you want that. You want your fans to get behind you, and you want there to be a hostile environment for your opponents. Every player wants that. Every single player wants that. Sorry, every single competitor wants that. The problem is that a lot of these young players are competitors, and these older players, they came into the league as competitors. They did. A lot of these older players came into the league. You don't get to the point where they get to without being supremely competitive. It's one of those things where, like, they were in the league for so long that it was our competition is overseas. In the WNBA, we're going to become an activist league. And to be honest, it wasn't the older players. That's why you're not going to hear Angel McCutchery, or you're not going to hear the likes of, heck, you're not even going to hear Cheryl Swoops doing shit like that. She'll say mad shit, but like, it's always nonsense a lot of the time about basketball. Cheryl Swoops is a complete liar, but like, again, these players, Cynthia Coopers of the world, your Cheryl Millers, they were competitors. The problem is the 2020 era players, where these players are so used to the only fans coming to games being there for the quote unquote community and not the basketball. They're so confused that basketball fans show up to games. And I said Portland, yes, obviously all the expansion teams. They're so confused that basketball fans come to games. But yeah, it well and truly is one of those things where this is not a Dijonai problem. This is a WNBA problem. This is a WNBA problem as a whole. And I don't know how it gets better. I don't know when it gets better. I think it gets better by just time. Because let's be real. Has anyone drafted post 2023 other than Angel Reese caused any non-basketball bullshit with what they have said or done? No. Nobody in the 2023 class. Nobody other than Angel in the 2024 class. Like Rakia, Cam, Brink, Cardoso, Lacan, Late, none of them are. In the 2025 class, none of them are. 2026 class, none of them are. Sanaya Rivers in 2025. 2026 class, none of them are. And then all the overseas rookies are here to compete. The league is going to be way better in 5 years because all of those people all the people that are wrecking it are going to be gone. You're not going to be giving Bree Turner diplomatic immunity because she's on the PA. Like, E-Will is going to be playing herself out of the league. And again, like all these players are going to be playing themselves out of the league and you're going to have a bunch of hoopers in there. So a couple of years' time, it'll be in a better spot. But right now, Dijonai is part of the crew that doesn't realize what basketball fans are. And yeah, that is pretty much it. That is pretty much it, lads. I will see you guys. That's it. Most of 2022. Yeah, even the list is fine. Once you got away from Dijonai, it's been fine. NIL era, basically. NIL era players. Like, I have to talk about this because I think it's an important thing to talk about. I think it's really important to talk about this because the Dallas Wings have gotten away with it. Because I've seen on more than one news publication the number one pick in the 2026 WNBA draft be listed as Olivia Miles. I've seen more than one news publication list Olivia Miles as the first pick in the WNBA draft. It is mad. It is genuinely mad because the Dallas Wings drafted a player who is good. Like, there was never a world where AZ Fudd was going to be a bad player. There wasn't. But like, in what should have been a conversation of, do you want the present or the future at number one? Became a conversation of, we're drafting our best players. And even if I don't know about their relationship status, nor do I care. We're drafting a player because she used to play with our best player. Like, she drafted a player for that reason. When they drafted a player for that reason. Like, they didn't even start her. They paid Arike to come back. They needed a point guard. And it's so funny, people being like, oh, Paige needs the ball, Olivia Miles needs the ball. You want to know what the best part of Paige Bueckers' game is? That she doesn't need the ball. Like, that is the best part of Paige Bueckers' game, is that she doesn't need the ball. She is better off the ball player. She is a better off the ball player. Like, than she is on the ball player. And people, like, Paige Bueckers is unbelievable at the two. And it should have been between Awa. Any dumbass saying Lauren Betts should have gone number one, I'm so happy that my Lauren Betts takes are correct. Like, I was so low on Lauren Betts pre-draft. Because I'm like, Cardoso is not a winning player. And she is a better version of Lauren Betts. like my whole thing with Lauren Betts, I said, whatever about taking AZ over Awafam, two different archetypes. If any team takes Betts over Awafam, GM should be firing spot. Lauren Betts might not even be McCown 2.0. Maybe you take her mid first round reputation. She can't screen, can't navigate doubles, is going to be killed in the PNR, can only play in drop coverage. Lauren Betts legit might be the third best player on her own team. Oh my God. These are some great takes. After Hawkes and Kiki Rice, these are great takes. My bets equals no Laurie talent, and Jen is looking good. Lauren Betts is going to dominate in China. Most people, and again, most people, Lauren Betts is going to dominate China. So most people saw Trent, Kalani, McCown, Cardoso, Griner. I thought Betts for his reach. I bet like 9, yeah. But let's be realistic. AZ Foot is the third best player in this draft. AZ is the third best player. Like, Awa is going to be ridiculous. Like we've seen flashes of the shooting from Awa to passing. She's not the finished product. She's a teenager. And she's better than Malonga was as a rookie. She's a kid. She is 2006 born. AZ Foot is 2002 born. Olivia Miles, realistically, was the obvious number 1 overall pick. And everyone started going, oh, but like she wasn't number 1 in any mock drafts. ESPN, as soon as free agency happened, so many people were talking about Olivia Miles number 1. So many people were like, well, this makes the most sense for Dallas. Like a lot of people were talking about that. This is a generational mistake. This is genuinely, I will call this is a generational mistake. Because AZ's good. But they've gotten away with it. They have gotten away with it because when it comes down to it, every single person realized, like, okay, like they need a point guard, and suddenly AZ's coming off the bench. The only reason I didn't say Olivia Miles was an A+, I think I graded her B+, was because I thought Awa was better. And that's a question that'll happen for a while. But you've even gotten people like, oh, there's no way. From Hunter Cruz, Alana's the best defender, whatever. So is it AZ number 1 with an off chance of Dallas taking a live? I said, I'm not sure if AZ even starts. They showed last year starting Grace with JJ. They think Paige is the best of 2. Even at UConn, Chen was the point guard with Paige and AZ. Seems like ESPN putting Miles number 1 might have been clairvoyant. AZ one best shooters. They're going to put in a start lineup. They're paying Enrique $1.2 million. Like Dallas Miles, I say Miles, Dallas don't like playing Paige or point. Even in free agency, I was saying that. And this is, again, during preseason, when they were bringing AZ off the bench, it was actually mental. Everyone being like, AZ's a better shooter and defense player. Who gives a shit? Miles is fucking MVP candidate. The Dallas Wings could have literally put together the greatest backcourt of all time. Long term. Like, one of the greatest backcourts of all time long term. And they said, nah. We're going to AZ because she went to UConn. There's no logic to it. I understand AZ's really good, but like you can find shooting. Like again, AZ's really, really good. But you can find people that shoot the ball. You can't find Olivia Miles. There's no point guards coming up for the next 4 years. And you can find people that hit open jumpers. You can find Sophie Cunningham, who statistically has basically been AZ Foot, just in less reps. Like, there are so many people. There are so many players, again, that are not as good as AZ Foot, but are like 80% of AZ Foot. Olivia Miles, when it comes down to it, like the Paige, Olivia, Caitlin debate, she might win that debate. She's that good. I'd be shocked if Paige wins that debate. I would predict Caitlin's going to win that debate. But like, Olivia Miles is good enough that she very well could. She could be the greatest guard of all time. And you could have paired the greatest guard of all time. Who is an alpha? Who is your primary ball handler? Who is your closer? Who is your dog? With one of the most skilled guards of all time, whose one flaw is that she's not an alpha, she's not a primary. late in games. She's not a dog. And you could have combined those two players and created the perfect backcourt. You could have had the perfect backcourt and you just said, nah, love and basketball wins. Like how did they get away with it? How have they gotten away with it? So many news publications have talked about Olivia Miles as the number 1 overall pick. How have they gotten away with one of the biggest draft fumbles of all time? You need a point guard. There is a generational point guard on the board. You have just paid a shooting guard a max contract for multiple years. And you draft a shooting guard. Like a shooting guard who was a 5th-year senior off the back of 2 knee injuries. And again, is currently injured. Like, it is madness. It's madness how they got away with that. I mean, Olivia Miles is still Olivia Miles. There are certain players their coach doesn't matter. As we have seen, like, we're going to be real here. Like, we're talking about players that kind of, it doesn't really matter what their coach is. But, like, I think Caitlin's one of them. I think Caitlin's at that stage where she's an MVP. It doesn't matter who her coach is. But, like, I don't really see how, like, when it comes to next season, like, how Stephanie White can stay in this job. I just don't. Like, for me, it just feels like it's one of those things where I don't get how you can look at Stephanie White and say, okay, like, we're going to run with a coach that, like, the fans have turned on. The fans have turned on. The players are behind her. But, like, they need to make a big playoff run. If the Fever get first rounded, and they could, they really could, you can't go in next year with Stephanie White head coach, because you need to change something, because your team's going to be worse than next year. Like, unless Sophie Cunningham plays at a minimum, Sophie Cunningham's gone. Unless both Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell take pay or leave a lot of money on the table, one of them's gone. Unless they can find a way to trade. Unless they can find a way to trade, one of Mo Billings or Alexi Hull. And by the way, Mo Billings is starting to give you something. Like, Mo Billings is really starting to give you something. So, I'll give credit where credit's due there. Mo Billings, as soon as she got put to the bench, I think Mo Billings has been really decent. Like, but now it's a situation where, as an organization, I think it's a real tough one to keep a coach in that clearly doesn't play to your players' strengths. Like, whatever you want to say, she does about Caitlin. And I think Caitlin's so good that it doesn't really matter. Like, I think Caitlin is that good that she can kind of overrule the game style going against her. Like, she can force the pace, whereas not a lot of other people can. Like, the half-court sets Stephanie White's running, unless they're the Kelsey Mitchell, are near disaster. There's a couple of pin-down ones to Caitlin Clark, and you know what? In the from those pin-downs, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. But, like, other than quick hitters, their actual motion offense is horrendous. Their actual motion offense is absolutely horrendous. It is laughably bad. Like, when Kelsey Mitchell's on the floor, at least they just go iso ball. They go away from it. And at least they just go iso ball. But they don't. They don't go iso ball. They don't they don't have anything. That motion offense does not work. The forcing Aaliyah Hub in the Alyssa Thomas role does not work. Like, they're running the same system the Connecticut Sun ran in 2024, which was one of the worst offenses in the WNBA. And this team is scoring 100 and something points scoring nearly 100 a game despite that. They're not doing it because of Stephanie White. They are actively doing that while playing in a system that basically limits their ability to be creative in the half court. Their entire half court offense is, can Caitlin or Kelsey Mitchell go ISO? The pick and roll is gone. It's gone. They don't do it anymore. It's not like, we're going to run it less. We're going to run it at certain times. It's gone. It's actually gone out of the offense entirely. And we're looking now at a team that, when they're at their best, is unguardable because you employ Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell and Leah Boston. They are the 3 of the 15 best players in the world and 2 of the best 5. You're not going to make back-to-back all W first teams, which Kelsey Mitchell is a lock to do, and not have someone call you a top 5 player in the world. I'm doing that. I'm going as far as to say that. You have 2 of those, and that's why the offense is so good. And the defense is still being iffy. It's gotten better. It really has gotten better. But it just still does not feel like in any way Stephanie White has adapted her coaching to Caitlin Clark. In no way. And it says here, motion offense requires high IQ from all 5 players on the court. Yes, it requires high IQ from all 5 players on the floor. It requires every player to be a threat. It realistically, one of those things where I also think it requires non-ball dominant guards, which Caitlin Clark isn't, and it requires certain things. There are certain things that it requires that I don't think the Fever team suit it. I don't think it suits Caitlin Clark. To an extent, I don't even think it suits Kelsey Mitchell. She just goes ISO and is the best tough shot maker in history right now. In history. And it just feels like, again, ending it talking about people going to hell. Everyone's like, it's only the online parasocial. Man, people were booing her in the arena. It is basically anyone that doesn't like Stephanie White should go to hell. We understand the general gist of that. And again, I hope she does well. And if the Fever win a playoff series or they make the finals, she's going nowhere, and rightfully so. I think she earned her spot back this season. I was worried about her, whether or not she was going to be a coach at one stage. But it's one of those things now where I think for the sake of everybody, for the sake of her own reputation, she's still got a reputation as one of the best coaches in the league. I don't necessarily think she is that, but that is the reputation. A lot of people have asked, they're like, what is Stephanie White good at as a coach? Genuinely. What, on the basketball court, what is Stephanie White good at as a coach? And I want anyone to answer that question. Is she good at creating open looks for her best players? No. She employs Caitlin Clark, who gets Kelsey Mitchell open. Her team employs Caitlin Clark. Is she a good defensive coach? No. Is she good at ATOs? Austin Kelly draws the ATOs. Is she good at dealing with players as people? And is she good at delegating her responsibility and, getting everybody on board and instilling an us against the world attitude? Yes, that is what she does well. But you're never winning a title on that shit. You are never winning a title with that type from that. The hope is you can win a playoff series or 2. But Stephanie White feels like a stopgap coach that is the coach that is there to make make the Indiana perennial playoff borderline contending team. And then when they actually do, or if they're ever going to be what the Aces are, because the Mystics are coming, you got to do it quick. It's got to be with an offensive coach. It's got to be with a coach that's going to outgun teams. They got to do something. It feels like she is a stopgap coach, but it also feels like they're going to hold on to her too long. So yeah, I will see you guys. Yeah, they're not giving me a best of 7 title. But anyway, yeah, we're going to end that there. I am hopping off right now, and I will see you guys